really know what's going on over there other than everybody's dumb.
The instant you step out of line, you say something that they don't like and they don't like you personally, they're going to use all those pre-existing laws and they're going to use it on you.
Woman exposed her male genitalia to women and underage girls. That's what happened.
It's pure propaganda and it's super cringe, by the way. It's super cringe.
Oh, hello. I'll just do all three parts. Hello.
Oh, classic.
Unauthorized opinions. Unauthorized onions, maybe. We are
63?
live. Number 63 with Hewey Media. How are you, young man?
I'm good. Thanks again for having me.
Always a pleasure, as they say. We are live on Getter. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Twitch for some reason, even though nobody watches there. We're live on Twitter.
Not on my YouTube though. Not this week.
You're suspended or something for what?
I am suspended for some video, literally some B-roll footage of the Capitol erection on January 6, 2021. But they took this down. They took it down and gave me a channel strike on Tuesday for a video that I posted on the day after January 6th. On January 7th, it had been up the whole time. A grand total of maybe 200 people have seen it. It wasn't doing numbers. They just felt like, and it was odd timing. I'm not going to go full tinfoil hat, but it was odd timing. Like maybe they're in cahoots with the whole Twitter thing. I don't know, but love you, Susan.
As they should, Eric. Yeah. You're spreading misinformation everywhere. Also, thanks to anybody listening on Spotify, Apple, and I guess Google Podcasts, which I didn't know exist, but apparently we're on there as well. Hewey Media on Twitter and Instagram, of course, always blowing up. You know somebody's blowing up when they've got a backup Instagram account, which you have. And he does this smart thing. He cross-posts and collabs with both of them. I saw that, like, damn, I should be doing that.
Yeah, but the thing that I worry about, though, when I do that is, let's say they decide to, take both down because I'm doing that, you know?
Well, you got to do the Bryson Gray move where he's up to 6 Instagram or something.
Bryson creates 16.
Yeah. Essentially, he'll skip 666 and he'll skip 69. I don't know what other improper numbers he's going to have to skip. It doesn't look like we're demonetized yet. Sometimes when we make the YouTube page, we're demonetized before we start. But maybe we won't say anything today that's off the charts, demonetizable, Eric.
No transgenders on the menu this weekend?
We don't have any trans news, surprisingly, this week.
We could probably celebrate. This is the first time in
2022.
Months. Yeah. Months all right, fair enough.
Only one time have we been demonetized for directly trans things. The other time, it's usually NBC. It's usually NBC taking our clips down, but we win those. They have these automatic flaggings, and then it's just this isn't the show. We're allowed to show news and talk about it. So anybody who gets discouraged by YouTube flaggings, just challenge it. If you are reasonable, you'll win most of the time.
Yeah, so I did that. I just recently tried to start mine, and literally the second video back, they said that because it was a Saturday Night Live clip, and they took down the video because I apparently copyright infringement or something, and I didn't win. So I just started and then I don't know. I got out of the groove of posting after that. I'm like, damn. So I just pretty much been sticking to Instagram after they took it down again. It's I don't know what it is. With YouTube, it's all my stuff gets taken down.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's impossible to grow on YouTube. Truly impossible. Instagram, they'll take your people away and let you go a little bit, but YouTube, if they really want to. I just saw a thing for the first time the other day where it was the month by month viewership and subscribership on Social Blade. I just looked at this for the first time for my YouTube back in 2020, and it's literally just a downward line. Once they demonetize me, just monthly views and subscribers just down, and then it's been going across low. They've been taking away 300 subscribers away from me every month for 2 years.
That's what happens when you think the way that they don't want you to think. It's
That's
just
true.
Do you ever
Yeah.
Do you ever like think and I like thought of this, but it would take some real dedication if you just like pretty much faked being like a real liberal for
I
like
have thought about
3 years or some shit, and then
Yeah, I
just
have thought about that.
completely switch it up,
You
like
want to go deep undercover.
Like if
yeah,
you were like
controlled
18
op.
years old, if you were like 18 years old and not involved in politics at all, nobody's going to be looking for your like teenage social media until you get really big. So you could literally do something where you pretended to be a leftist for years and until you got caught and maybe just pull out on your own, write a book about it. You'd be pretty successful, I think.
Like I'm not even exaggerating. Like I think all of us would have at least triple the following if we just had the popular views and told everyone to get the juice, told everyone to Biden's fantastic and wear your mask outside. Like I'm not kidding. They boost that stuff. It's like it's pretty pathetic that.
Oh, it's
Like,
disgusting, bro. But I will say this though: I know they're trying to. I mean, they shut me down this week, but if you're saying, oh, I got out of the rhythm of posting, like that's exactly what they want from you. You know what I mean? So I would say keep going because like that's what they want. They're like, oh, we'll suppress it, we'll flag this video, we'll flag that video, and then they'll just stop. And then if you stop, they're like, boom, they got a scalp. So don't let them get your scalp, bro.
We got him. That Eric Butler guy's finally down. And with Twitter going all Elon, I have seen a difference, even though on my scale it's a bit smaller than what other people are seeing. But I have seen a difference. All of a sudden, there are more comments on my stuff, and it's really weird to just see that out of nowhere. Usually, I'd gain like a couple people a day, but I've gained like 100 in the last week, which is it's different when just feels more fair. I don't know if we'll ever get back to 2019 and pre YouTube days, but there is still hope.
But so what's the reason for that? There's a lot of talk about how a lot of the conservative accounts were growing. I think even B Tatum grew. I don't want to misquote, but like a lot, bro. He gained like a lot of followers, whereas Katy Perry and AOC and all these like mainstream lefty people were losing followers. So that raises a bunch of questions like, are they were artificially inflating these people to pretend that they were much more popular, and then are people just getting unshadow banned? Are people actually signing
It
up? I
has
mean,
to be
this didn't
something
really.
like that. There was a Project Veritas video, a newer one. Remember the old one from a few years ago where they talked about people shadow banning, but they have a Slack chat, which is hilarious because I know Eric has one for his work and I have one, where people are just saying, yeah, we can do that. We can make them so they don't show up at all or they don't get any engagement at all, which is sad because that's the only way they can win. Like literally the only way. And up here in Canada for COVID related stuff, if you have a YouTube Canadian feed, which I know everybody does, obviously, there's a banner for their trusted news sources. And these news companies, one of them is called City TV. It's in Toronto. There's no reason for anybody outside of the Toronto area to watch it. They are placed on this little bar with CBC, CTV, the mainstream media in Canada. And they're just getting gifted all these views and impressions, I should say, just by being on the front of the YouTube page, but they still can't get shit all. Just like another channel called Global News. The only time they get views is when they have, they're streaming somebody's press conference or something like that. But even by being forced by the algorithm to be at the top of the page, these channels still can't get views. They're getting like 1,000 views per video.
Yeah.
Whereas
it's an information war, as some guy once said.
So they can't even get these views, whereas Rebel News has 1.5 million subscribers, and it's so throttled that we get like, let's say, an average of 20,000 views per YouTube video. That's how throttled it is. But the other side, even with I don't know what's the reverse for throttling, a bump and everything, they can't even get to like 2,000 views on a regular video. It's really weird and it's really sad.
And that's promotion that I assume they're not even paying for, right? Like they just get that because the machine wants them. So they could probably even spend dollars to promote it like the traditional way where you just run ads and like, pay for promotion. But that probably, I mean, it's an absolute mess, bro.
They get government money. They do the preferred sources or the authoritative sources on YouTube. And now the new Trudeau thing is he's establishing like a media licensing. It's not really a licensing. It's basically making a list of media that you can get a tax deduction from if you subscribe to them digitally. But they want to use this list to tell Facebook and Instagram, hey, these are the news sources you should promote. So they basically want to take the YouTube algorithm of authoritative sources, the government that is, and tell Facebook that this is the platform, this is the like prototype you should use. We've come up with an authoritative sources for you, just like YouTube has, and you should downrank anything that isn't this. So Canada's media is so controlled by the government, and they already get help from YouTube, and now they want help from Facebook. That's how bad they are. It's
But so
really
say
pathetic.
if you guys don't get that pass, right, because you guys are completely untrustworthy bigots, is there
It's fair.
what other outlets like, I mean, who's in that boat with you?
As far as I know,
Like who's publishing like remotely true things?
Post Millennial, even though like a fair bit of their stuff is just stealing people's videos. I don't care for their model. It's just like, hey, here's 2 minutes of Tucker Carlson's monologue with nothing else, like just content stealing. But their ideological stance is pretty similar, I would say. And then a company called True North, which is much smaller than us, but they're like the less edgy version of us, I would say, where like they're much more safe, but they've got a good head on their shoulders. I think they might be included though, but anybody who's paid by the government can be included. That's the weird thing about it, is that our media is literally gifted money from the government. There's this huge list that came out, I think like a year ago. It was like 10 pages long of all the media that got emergency election funding from the government. I wonder what that means. It was literally called emergency election funds, so that they could properly, tell the Canadian people about the election. But the places on this list, it was like Pizza Monthly and like Fire Truck Magazine and stuff like that. It was literally a list of all those things, like trades magazines, and they were getting government handouts too. So it goes so deep in this country, or even like you can't even trust your local, like Orchard Eater Weekly or something to not be on Trudeau's payroll.
Scary
It's
stuff.
insane.
Yeah,
Whatever
scary.
apple he prefers. All right, correspondence dinner, Eric Butler. You're there still, it looks like.
Yeah.
Trevor Noah was I'm not going to say killing it or anything, because I don't find him very funny. He's funny once in a while. Did you guys see that clip? I don't think I have it, but of Biden making fun of the Fox News team, saying that if you're wondering how to get vaccinated and boosted, just ask the whole Fox News team. They're here, which is true. And I don't know how you guys thought about that.
Well, I'll let you go, Rob. Take it away, because I'm gonna get triggered.
So, well, if you look at that, I think it was Blaze Media. They had an request of information, I believe it was, and every single basically big corporate media network took money to mass promote this garbage product.
Oh yeah, you posted about that recently, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So at the end of the day, anyone that takes in money to promote about that product, I don't trust that network. And that includes Fox News. Do I trust them more than CNN and like the other side spewing garbage? Like, absolutely. But at the end of the day, like, both sides are playing into this agenda. And to be honest with you, I don't believe any of these elites are really getting this product. I just don't. I really don't. I think it's all just a show they're basically just brand ambassadors and promoting this so the peasants at the bottom get this product. That's my opinion.
I like the use of product.
And
that's what it is.
I don't know if it was you or somebody else who posted. I should have bookmarked this one. A list of like these CEOs that don't even let their families use their own products. So like Zuckerberg says his kids don't use Facebook, and this I don't want to get too deep into it because I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like some pharmaceutical executive who says, "Oh well, my kids didn't get it." Like so to your point, yeah, they're just brand ambassadors. It would be like you going out there and promoting some beer label or something, but you not even drinking it. It's absolutely insane. But outside of that, I think the line that Joe Biden dropped about the Fox News stuff is just, it's very telling, because they are in this this bubble. I truly, every week, I don't know if this is stupidity or say incompetence or malice or whatever you want to say, but this is very telling because he is basically telling us that we do not believe that there's anybody out there who is not brainwashed by the media. So you're talking to first of all, you're outing yourself as a clear. This is not news, but obviously this is a very partisan thing. So when you target Fox News like that, you're obviously saying, well, we have everybody else in our pocket. It's just Fox News that doesn't agree with us. And I am letting you know that all the people who don't trust me or who don't like me, even your news outlet that you like, see, they did it, so you should do it too. It's like, bro, no, nobody cares if Sean Hannity got the juice. Nobody cares if Tucker Carlson got it. That's not neither here nor there, bro. I would venture to say there's more people. Okay, I don't know about more people, but there's a lot of people out there who do not trust any media organization, and rightfully so, because they've been lying to us for decades now. But it's been much more obvious in the past 5 or 6 years. So for him to say, well, Fox News did it, it's like, bro, okay, and like, who cares, bro? You're outing yourself, and then on top of that, it's like, dude, we can see everything now. We all have these little computers in our pockets, and you won't think that if I know that Laura Ingraham got the shot, then I'm gonna get it. It's like, dude, we can all look through this stuff, which, just to sort of, I guess, bring it full circle, is why they want to do this. Among other reasons, of course, why they want to do this Ministry of Truth thing. It's like, bro, we can see it. The cat's out of the bag. Does anybody out there think that Joe Biden is going to have a better grasp of how to efficiently navigate the internet for information? The man can barely speak a sentence. So it's laughable that he thinks that, well, see your Fox News people got it. It's like, bro, the people who aren't getting it, like us here, like, he really thinks in his head that some news personality is going to convince us. I'm a huge fan of Kanye West. Kanye West could come out and say tomorrow, go get it, and I'll send you my new album, and be like, nah, I'm cool. Like, there's no we all have brains for
Are
ourselves.
you sure about that, Eric Butler?
Absolutely, 100%. The point is, it's just like, dude, we're not that stupid, and it's insulting, bro. It really is insulting. And Andrew, if you could bring back up that CNN that purse there that said fully juiced. How creepy is this, bro? Like, talk about dystopian. Like, you're at this gala where you're all showing off. Okay, well, you're all showing off how rich you are and how exclusive it is. Even Eric Adams posted on his Instagram today, live from New York, the inner circle, which is just creepy. And they're flaunting around their bedazzled purses. And like, look at this, bro. Like, and Joe Biden
Trevor
said,
Noah is right there, and he loves it.
like, oh, see, Fox. Oh, these two. Oh, yikes.
Barbara Walters.
Wait, they were there too? Like Kim
Yeah, for some
Kardashian
reason.
was at the thing?
Kim and Skeet, for some reason, were there.
Dude, like, it just showed, like in the past, like, oh my God, dude, that is disgusting.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
It's so creepy.
Dude,
So
like, here's my thing. It just take the V out of it. Take the V out of it. The fact that they're this, like, I don't care what the product is. If you're confident in your product, you don't have to keep bringing it up. Well, this guy took it. This guy took it. This just shows how desperate that they are. Like, if I believed even like a little bit in my product, I don't need to say, like, every second, this guy took it. This guy took it. People just take it because the thing works. The more that they say, like, this person took it, the more I doubt it. Like, no good, like, do you ever see like those really nice cars that, like, what's that one car brand?
McLaren?
Tesla.
Well, I guess that's a stupid thing. Like, there's a lot of car brands, but like a lot of the nice car brands, like, they don't have commercials because people just know about that car brand. Like, they know that it's a good product.
Alfa Romeo or McLaren or stuff, they don't advertise at all.
Exactly. And like, people just know it's a good product. I don't need a commercial. I don't need to say this person drives it. This person drives it. It's like, no, that's a freaking good car. It speaks for itself. These garbage pharma products are garbage. So that's why they need to say this person took it. This person took it. No, they frickin' didn't. You're just desperate for us to take it. We're not stupid. No one's, well, I guess there are a lot of stupid people, but that doesn't work on me. That doesn't work on many people. Many people open their eyes, and we're not getting their garbage product. No matter how many people at Fox News took your garbage trash product,
But it's free.
I'm not getting it.
It's free, guys.
I'm pretty sure a car. Pretty sure it's like Ferrari or something. You have to be put on the list.
Yep.
And then you get it for a certain amount of time. You don't get to own the car yet, but you get it for a certain amount of time. And you have to show that you can actually maintain the car and care for the car before they'll actually let you have it. My girlfriend's Italian. She's telling me all about this.
I never heard of that. I'm not in that realm yet. Maybe one day.
No, Eric. All right.
Well, but just okay. The last thing about this though is for him. I mean, are we supposed to? I mean, they really want us to look at this and say, "Wow, like I wish I could be there. These people are so they're so amazing. Like if I just got the juice, then maybe I could." What's that?
I said teens think that way.
Really? Do you think teenagers? Do you think some Gen Zers are looking at the freaking White House Correspondents' Dinner? And I mean, and Joe Biden, I think it does appear like they gave him a couple, a couple of whatever stimulants or something that they inject into him so he can be fluid for a certain amount of time. But it's just outside of the weird glamorous purses and the shout out to like, oh well, Fox News data. Outside of all that. They want you to think like, well, if you just and keep in mind, it's not just the first shot or the second one. He said boosted too, so you had to get the third one at least to go in there. and I mean, I wish I could be there. Now this is a mess, dog. Like nobody, like we have a laundry list of problems, whether it's the border, the Afghanistan pullout, inflation, gas prices, the list goes on and on and on. And they want us to look at these people wearing bow ties and think, oh, well, I just wish I could be there. And I would also venture to say, and I'm looking at this photo, but I would assume that most of the help was still wearing the mask. So they're all out there eating their steak and lobster, catered dinner, whatever, while the people serving them are wearing these cloth black masks that we all know are perfect and will keep everybody safe forever. And
the weird thing is that it doesn't make any sense. Like, let's say you were a well-meaning person. You took the vaccine immediately, took the second one 3 months later, and you took the third one 3 months after that. That's probably like last November. When were they pushing the booster? Probably like last November. If you took all three of those, then you're still in the same boat as to before you took any of them. In fact, if you weren't exposed to it, you're probably worse off. It's so hard to not like say what I really mean here because it's YouTube. but like it's at this point it's useless anyways. And to require that of somebody, works, even though you're like even though you're like 5 months past its effective, especially if you got Johnson & Johnson, bro, you got 3 Johnson & Johnsons. That the efficacy rate of that is so much lower than even what they claim for the other ones because it's not even an mRNA. So they couldn't even claim, a certain length or efficacy on that. It was basically just getting like a vitamin C tablet when you're sick. Just pop in a vitamin C tablet and that's how protected you are, quote unquote.
And remember all the people who have come down with it, right? I mean, Kamala, Eric Adams, the list goes on.
Campbell A. Harris.
Yeah, Kamala. So it works. I mean, because I was so Hillary Clinton. Oh, I was so thankful that I got the juice because otherwise it would have been a lot worse. Give us a break, bro.
It's like nope. It's like I'm so happy that I wore a condom and my wife got pregnant, but if I didn't wear a condom, she would have had triplets instead of just
pregnant.
Bro, exactly.
We still have Trevor Noah's thing to get to, so let's watch that.
Okay.
Every single one of you, whether you like it or not, is
Oh,
okay.
Oh, we froze.
We don't have it then, I guess.
That might be for the better. That guy's
and even
tool.
losing their lives to show the world what's.
Once I full screened it, it goes away.
Look at this. Okay, sorry, this masky lady in the back. She's like, well, this bald guy, and then the lady that really there with him. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
You realize how amazing it is. Like in America, you have the right to seek the truth.
You talk so smugly at all times.
Even if it makes people in power uncomfortable. Even if it makes your viewers or your readers uncomfortable. understand how amazing that is? I stood here tonight and I made fun of the President of the United States, and I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine, right? Do you really understand what a blessing it is? Maybe it's happened for so long that it might slip your mind. It's a blessing. In fact, here, ask yourself this question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did they invite any
Honestly,
right-wing
ask yourself
comedians
this
on?
question.
Steven Crowder.
If Russian journalists who are losing their livelihoods, as you were talking about, Steve, and their freedom for daring to report on what their own government is doing, if they had the freedom to write any words, to show any stories,
Do they
or to
have that
ask
in Ukraine?
any questions.
This
No,
is
they don't.
painful,
They
bro.
have
I haven't seen this.
basically-
This
Yeah,
is
I know.
painful.
The thing is that, like, even in Ukraine,
on
if
full?
you go, it we'll just we want everybody to see my whole hot body here, my Dr.
Okay.
Pepper thing. In Ukraine, it just came out that they're going to people's houses and arresting them if they post pro-Russia things. One guy got arrested for memes. So, like, even in his, oh, it's so free here, it's based on lies. It's just like what The View does, and CNN especially. Every story they talk about has a base of a lie that's just accepted. Whether you want to go back and say it's based on, like, there's good people on both sides, they always have their story predicated on a falsehood that is just assumed to be true. So in this speech right here, it's assumed to be true that you cannot it's assumed to be true, that Russia is the most evil one and everything that they're doing is evil, and they're doing this to these people and these journalists. That's like the assumed truth that the basis of his joke is after. You're not even supposed to pay attention to that part because it's so obviously true. The other part is about how great and free it is in the United States. You can make fun of the president, not to mention how they're like, you can't if you're not on the Daily Show. You can't if you're not, towing the line on other topics. You can say that stuff as long as he's towing the line on the other topics. There is no Bill Burr there. There is no person who's actually going to make fun of the president for real things. But it always has to be predicated on this assumed truth, and that's how they make it so it's like it's something that's universally believed, or it's supposed to look like it's universally believed. Oh, it's so wonderful that we live in this country. And by the way, did you hear about how Russia kills all their journalists if they talk about the regime? Oh, yes, that's 100% true. But did you hear? But the United States is so wonderful, so they have to slide in this underlying lie. It's when like a TV show has like an A story, a B story, and then this third little story about Kramer going to wherever, falling asleep on that woman. It's not really part of the plot, but it's just a side story that's happening. Whereas, George has his relationship problem and George has his work problem and Jerry has his relationship problem. The third underlying story that you're not really thinking about it. It's just there. It's assumed to be true. And that's a big part of how they get lives across to be universally accepted by their viewers. Charlottesville, you can name so many other ones that are slipping my mind and making me look stupid right now, but they'll come to me as I talk about it. Russia's another one. The border's another one. The vaccine's another one. Things like that go unspoken about, like the Gretchen Whitmer FBI plot, stuff like that. January 6th. So see, they came to me.
Yeah,
all these
they're
things
all
that
out
are
there.
You have these layer of things that are assumed to be true as a bedrock, and then we can build our lies on top of that. And even if these lies up here on the sedentary layer of rock of stories, even if those ones don't work, then we still have our bedrock of lies that 99% of people won't question at all. That's how I feel about that when I hear something like that.
That's the Jussie Smollett technique. So, well, yeah, this one wasn't real, but it's still based on a pattern of behavior. So that's a very similar thing, right? It's like, well, yes. We can't prove that didn't really happen, but if you look deeper, you will notice that this is a trend. So everything is racist, and that's kind of what. And Jussie Smollett, of course, is just another example of one of those things you mentioned. So yeah, I totally agree. They build the foundation of lies, and then they pile the lies on top. So when some of the other lies fall through or they blow away, the base is still there, and most people still believe it.
I just think it's hilarious that as they're talking about how free we have it in America, they're simultaneously making a disinformation governance board, like in America. Like if it's so free, what are you doing? Like, why you putting a disinformation governance board in? Like, clearly we're heading down the route to more control, the exact things that we're criticizing Russia for. I mean, in communist China for, like, if you look at where we're heading, like, it's pretty similar path. It's kind of scary. And the fact that people just continue to see, the thing that I don't get is how people like see that, like, they're literally implementing a ministry of truth. It's clearly biased, and people just continue to go about their days, talk about like sports and entertainment. It's like, you realize that shit's not going to matter if like our speech is like, we're losing this country, and most people just are talking about irrelevant shit. It blows my mind.
Yeah, and this is a classic way that they project every single thing, whether it's Russian collusion, just project every single thing you're doing, and this has been happening for decades, right? I mean, probably since before we were all born, where they will just project exactly what they're doing on somebody else and on everybody else, quite literally. Like, no, well, you know what I mean? From the racist stuff to I mean, just goes, the list goes on and on and on. And one thing that I found incredibly disturbing, I don't know what the word is for it, but Alejandro Mayorkas said about the disinformation governance board that they were going to focus, and I should have sent you the article, but he said that they were going to focus on disinformation being spread in minority communities. So think about that. I mean, these people are so detached from reality that they are telling you that, well, the like who, so you're telling me that it's Russians and disinformation troll bots out there who are targeting minority. What are they doing? They're looking at IP addresses and seeing who's in the hood, who's in East Oakland, who's in Flatbush, who's in East New York, and we're targeting what via Facebook. We're targeting minorities, or is it more likely? Or is it more likely that you can see from some sort of internal polling that minority communities, blacks and Latinos most notably, don't trust you anymore? I mean, so so there's only two ways this can go. Or maybe there's more than two ways, but here's what I think is happening is A, they either truly believe that minority communities are so stupid that they can't decipher a meme from a news story, or B, they know that they're losing them, so they need to figure out a way to keep them from getting information that might continue to make them look like the awful scumbags that they are. Those are the only two ways that disinformation board can go, in my personal opinion. It's so dark. It makes me. I'm speechless, bro. I don't know what else to make of it.
You need it, Eric. You need it. Your neighborhood needs it. Any low income of color, any income neighborhood of color needs a disinformation board, or it's a disinformation governance board. Funny you should bring that up. Not really though, but I was doing streeters about that the other day while I was waiting for Trudeau to come into some hotel. $1,800 a pop to get in there, by the way. And surprisingly, everybody but one person was against that because they don't trust the government. And I bet you that's not going to be reflected in the news media by any stretch of the word. This is something Rob posted, I think yesterday or the day before, whatever day one of the NFL draft was.
Oh yeah. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable, bro.
Literally more Ukraine flags. There's no American flag there. It's all just fucking Ukraine. This is in America.
NFL logo.
This is
and they
unreal.
bring out some Ukrainian woman. What did she talk about?
Just stand with Ukraine.
Matter, first of all.
Yes. My God.
She should have taken a knee. She
should
have came out there and taken a knee,
lady.
Sickening, man.
Like what? None of these guys up here in the background care whatsoever. First of all, that looks like, I don't know who that is. He looks like a woman. He's got no socks on. But how do these guys have this money already? I guess they're advancing their check, or somebody's giving it to them to wear it at the draft. But still, like,
they're all standing for the current thing. They're all standing for the current thing.
Hometown. So she's not even anybody of note. Hers just hometown. She's dating one of these guys. Here's the thing.
I mean, she is.
You
cute.
have up here. Yeah, we St. Louis Rams have Ukraine colors. Let's go.
Those are the
Or
Los
LA
Angeles
sorry.
Rams, bro. I was like,
My
dude.
apologies. Black Lives Matter. But here's the thing: you've got like what 12 black guys up here, at least, and you think the number one issue for 12 American black guys is Ukraine? You couldn't and the NFL is supposed to be the most social justicey. They give the most money to this crap they did when Kaepernick kneeled. They gave $100 million away.
Are they
And a
worse
lot
than
of
the
players-
NBA? Because remember when the NBA painted Black Lives Matter on the court? I mean, how's
But
baseball?
I don't
How
know
is
how
one on
much the
baseball?
NBA gave money though.
The
I don't know how
NFL
much the
does the
NBA
same shit. It's like they have end racism stickers
Yeah.
on their helmet. Like, oh, racism's over. They have a sticker. It says end racism.
I
So
have to
no more
I have to look at
racism.
that when I'm breaking records with Tom Brady on Madden 22. I have to look at a helmet that says "End Racism." I broke the record. I broke most touchdowns in a game. I broke most yards in a game. I was just on fire. Most touchdown passes with a tight end with Gronk. It was just an amazing season. Had to end it though. It got ended short. I can only play it so long. But anyways, these are the issues that 12 young black men who just got drafted in the NFL care about most? No, it's not. How about something that pertains to them in any way, shape, or form?
No. How about nothing?
Poverty,
How about
drugs.
none of that? No, none of that. How about you put an American flag up or an NFL logo up, and you don't talk about any of that because this needs to be about statistics and the combine, how high you can jump, how fast you can run. Like what? No, we don't care about any of your.
No, I'm not saying that I want that. I'm saying if you're going to bring up an issue, how about it's about something that actually affects the people in the room, not the 3 owners who have stakes in, Burisma oil or something like that.
See, the problem is you're thinking of it from a logical perspective that's not corrupt. Seriously, you're thinking of it from a logical perspective that's not corrupt. And that's the thing. It is beyond corrupt what's going on. They realize a lot of sheep are tuning into the draft. So this is a perfect opportunity to market the war. And that's what they're doing. They're marketing in just getting people to consent to sending another $33 billion to Ukraine when there's a laundry list. Like the list goes on of problems that we have here in America. Yet screw those problems. Let's send it to Ukraine. Like I just posted the other day, there's literally there was an article, 200 some million people have access to basically dirty water. That they have dirty water and contaminated water. And
how is Flint doing? Is Flint okay? I mean, I know that was been going on for years, the whole Flint thing.
I don't know if maybe that's fixed. I'm not positive, but I literally just read an article. You could pull it up. It was I think it was from ABC, if I'm correct. But ABC literally said it was a tweet, and they said that 200 million people in all 50 states have contaminated carcinogens in their water, and this is what we're gonna try to do about it. It's maybe we should focus a little bit of that 33 billion that we're sending to Ukraine and get our water fixed. I don't know about you, but that's should be a much bigger interest for the American people than sending this straight to Ukraine. So blows my mind.
You're trying to eat a bag of chips. Is that what that is, Eric? You trying to sneak in some chips over there?
Oh, sorry. I was trying to look at a website. Did you hear me typing? Is that what that was?
Oh, it sounded like a bag.
Oh no, I was trying to
some spicy Doritos.
No, dude. No junk food here. I'm trying to watch my weight.
I don't believe you.
Well, you're the the soda and stuff. Anyways,
I don't have anything to do with sugary drinks, Eric. I don't know where you would get that idea from.
I think we also, for whatever reason, it's maybe because we have a laundry list of awful problems, but we remember the awful Afghanistan pullout, and the Washington Examiner reported that we left $7 billion, $7 billion. So still a fraction of what they're hoping to send to Ukraine now. But we left $7 billion worth of military equipment in Afghanistan. So, I mean, everything's backwards, right? I mean, you picked up and left. And look, I'm not like a war hawk or anything. I think it's a good, naturally, we maybe should not have been there for the past 25 years or 20 years or whatever it was. But you left all of that equipment, $7 billion, which, a quarter, that's a quarter of what you're trying to send to Ukraine. And we just throw it around and pretend like it doesn't matter and blame everything on Putin's price hike and And it's just none of this is my fault. I mean, Joe Biden, of course, and look, I will say quite honestly, a lot of it is not his fault because he doesn't know what's going on. The man can barely talk. It's whatever cabal of corrupt elites is behind him. It is their fault. He's the face of it. He's kind of a fall guy, right? I mean, he's sort of a patsy. He doesn't. What they asked him, what was it last week or maybe 2 weeks ago? They asked him about Title 42 when he started talking about mask mandates or something. It's like, dude, he doesn't even know what's going on. So to his credit, it's not really his fault. It's the people behind him that are extracting money from the American public via taxes and inflation and continuing to just be like, well, we have to save Ukraine. We don't care how many people are hopping over the fence at the southern border. We don't care that we told you all had to stay home for 2 years. We don't care that you got fired from your job. We're going to let this influx of people come in from the southern border because magically for them, Rona isn't a thing, but it is for you, and you're going to die if you don't get the shot. And we're going to leave behind billions of dollars worth of military equipment. And it's just kind of ironic that it's actually military stuff that if you are a big time I stand with Ukraine person, then maybe you could have been calling this out, because it's not like, oh, we just left $7 billion worth of voting machines, or I mean, these are quite literally things that you would have used in time of war, and it doesn't matter anymore. We're sending $33 billion to Ukraine because Russia man bad. It's just absolute insanity, and I don't know how we get out of this predicament. I mean, no Republican president, no Republican Congress is going to be able to clean this up. We are in it for the long haul, bro. It's like the whole country is basically New York now. It's basically going to turn into New York, and it's going to be absolutely disgusting. Old food shortages, plants and stuff blowing up all over the place, catching on fire. But none of that matters because a guy in Ukraine who somehow became, sorry, I'll just end it with this. As I understand it, Zelensky somehow became a billionaire in the span of like 2 or 3 years, and we're not really sure how that happened. But he needs more money right now, otherwise, Putin wins. And he's
just talented, bro.
If you question it, though, you're a racist. Don't be a racist and question it. Man.
I'm sorry, guys. I apologize.
If you saw Zelensky dance with those gay guys, then you would know why he's such a billionaire. His talents are unlimited.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna watch his show on Netflix, and I will admit I did watch Ozark. That was a good show. I know I don't really care for Netflix. I mooch it from
some Meghan Markle thing just got pulled from Netflix. About a 12-year-old feminist, a cartoon about a 12-year-old feminist just got pulled from Netflix. Maybe they'll finally de-woke, because it is trash. I go to Amazon first now. But I did get this sweet cable box that my girlfriend got us.
Well, I will recommend Ozark. I'm not going to sit here and say you should subscribe to Netflix, but if you can mooch it from somebody else like I'm doing, Ozark is a great show. And obviously I can watch Seinfeld reruns every day of the week. So
junk food bad, says Eric. Stealing Netflix good. I see where our priorities are. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. That's actually exactly my point. Yeah, wow. Exactly.
Middle America has never got better advice than that. I don't know if you guys heard, but there's another protest in Ottawa, Canada right now. It's war veterans who are bikers as well. There's like 800 cops there just lining the streets. It's really disgusting, but there are gems. What do they say in Aladdin? The gem and the something, I don't know. Jafar, rock, gem, Aladdin. Anyways, there are some gemstones in the reporting, and Eric sent me another one, but we're going to show two. This one's just, I don't know how to describe it. This is the one Eric sent.
Wait, so what is that supposed to be?
I don't know.
Do you feel like it's still justified to prevent unvaccinated people from flying on federal flights right now?
There's other governments doing it.
There's no other governments doing it right now in the world. There's no other
She's just like, other governments do it, so it's okay. Not true.
It's only Canada that's preventing the unvaccinated from flying in the country. No other country is doing that. Do you promote the segregation policy?
Dude.
Thank you.
They're all
women.
Disgusting, dude.
Adult women who are coming out in favor of the government to have segregation and like travel restrictions, and then her only answer was other governments are doing it, which is untrue. Canada's the only one left. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I
I want to
bet
bring up
you-
another video.
I bet you she has like a doormat at her house saying, "We love everyone, welcome everybody." You know, like
No one is illegal.
yeah, like the virtue signaling, just pathetic people. But like my thing is just do you think that they actually like believe their BS, or do you think that they like know that they're censoring and like basically rigging the system because their arguments are just so weak? You know what I mean? Like I think about that all the time. Like, do they truly believe this, or do they like know that they're like losing, so they have to do this BS?
Women like
That's
that,
like
I think, are just literally watching. Like my dad will say some of the same things. Like my dad's so weird. He watches nothing but mainstream media, but he thinks the government's trying to kill him at the same time. So like a month ago, I was having a phone call with him, and I don't even know how it came up, but he was like, "But don't you remember when that couple in the South pulled their guns on those poor Black Lives Matter protesters?" And I was like, you need to stop watching whatever you're watching. Like, because that's the angle he gets it from. And then I tell him and he's like, no, you're probably right. And then, yeah, COVID is a plan to kill all old people because we have too many pensions. That's where the conversation with my dad goes. And this is just, and my mother, I remember having an argument with her about, Trump she's like, Trump's a white supremacist, I think. And I was like, what's your evidence for that? I just feel that he is. And it's like, again, this baseline of truth that they have to have. And you're getting this stuff shot at you your whole life, especially if you're a boomer and your whole life has literally been from this one narrative, this one angle. Forget if you're just somebody in their 20s or a teenager trying to figure everything out. Everything's always been from the same angle their whole life, that same mainstream narrative their whole life. They don't know anything else
Yeah.
other than what the TV tells them.
And
TV
shout out,
total.
exactly. That's what I was gonna say. And I think it's also funny. Like we cannot forget that everybody loved Donald Trump for, I don't know, 15 seasons of The Apprentice and Comedy Central roast, and it was all good. And then he came down the escalator, and now suddenly he's an agent of Russia, white supremacist, and people just forgot. They just forgot that, oh, this was one of the top rated shows for like a decade, but we don't care about that anymore. And as far as these women with the little squeaky toys, so, I mean, these drone bots are just, I mean, this is absolutely astonishing. And it does raise 100 questions. Like, do they look in the mirror and say, I am doing a good thing today. I'm completely faceless.
Yes.
No, I have this mask over my face. I have these big glasses on. Nobody can see me. We're all faceless drones. But I know that the government would never lie to me. And I mean, you would think you could at least come up with like, okay. So I guess her answer was, well, other governments do it. Okay, true or false, doesn't even matter. You can't come up with one argument about, I mean, we had 2.5 years now of this stuff. You couldn't come up with one thing like, well, I mean, she could have just used the old immunocompromised line. Well, I'm immunocompromised, so everybody should have to capitulate to me, which is absurd, right? Like, you don't, I mean, people get sick, people have a whole bunch of conditions. It's like with Jada Shakur and the whole Will Pinkett thing, like, oh, well, she has alopecia, so we can't joke about it. It's like, no, bro, like people have conditions all over the place, like things happen. And so that would have been the low hanging fruit, and they couldn't even make that argument. So if these women were to ever, I highly doubt they would ever even get close to looking at a Rebel News Instagram post. But do you think they would look at that and be like, yeah, we showed them, like our we made our point. This makes sense. And government mandates forever. Like how do they rationalize this at all? I guess they don't.
If you remember, go ahead, Rob.
I was just gonna say, like, if you kind of just observe just the people that are falling for this stuff, like, it seems like they're people like, trying to say this in the nicest way possible, but usually people that don't seem to be doing the best are falling for this. Like it's rare you find someone in like tip top shape that's doing great, that's buying all of this propaganda. It's usually the lowest of the low, and that's who the media preys on. People like that.
And the politicians too, they love the low information, like stupid voter. Now, when you say the tip top shape, I will give a shout out to The Rock for being the most in shape puppet of this regime. Remember when
Yeah,
he
but
came out and
he doesn't believe this stuff though.
No.
He's getting paid.
No, he doesn't.
There's a difference between the people that push it and the people that eat it up. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just sad because he came out and campaigned for Biden and Kamala like early on. Like I think this was like maybe even 2019, like pre-virus stuff. And he was like, I'm so proud to like host Biden. And it was like, dude, what? Like what are you talking about? You're gonna vote for these like weirdo, creepy, authoritarian, socialist adjacent people that want to stop, and then for him to later come out and like, I think maybe I could be wrong, he was like promoting the mask and stuff. It was like, dude, you're in tip top shape. And last thing here, let's never forget at the beginning of this when all the celebrities came down with it, Idris Elba and Fredo Cuomo and there's a list, you could Google it, a list of celebrities who had it at the very beginning. And guess what? They all made it out alive. They all lived to tell the tale. Rudy Gobert and Kevin Durant, and you mean to tell me that a 7-foot man who's 100% pure muscle is worried about Rona, bro? These people are in the greatest shape of their lives. So to your point, it's 100%. I mean, do you think now Kevin Durant's a little skinny? He could probably afford to hit the weight room, but do you really think that a 28-year-old man in the prime of their life making millions of dollars dribbling a basketball is so scared of Rona? Or maybe somebody said, "Hey, we'll toss this on top of your NBA contract if you just tell them you're worried about it." Like this is, and we can see through it. And once you get through it, like I always say, there's no putting the toothpaste back in the tube. I can't go back and be like, all right, well, I guess I'll just this makes sense. Let me go get 3 of them. I'll get one once a week. Like we're
the people who really let these women down are their friends and family, because the length of their conversation that they've had about this stuff isn't even the length at which you talk about a food you hate. Like if I'm sitting there telling somebody how I hate bell peppers, and then somebody asks me why, I'm not just gonna be like, no reason, just hate them, just don't like them. Just here's my squeaky pig. You want to get an answer? Every squeaky pig. Other people don't like peppers. It's not just me. No, bro. They're crunchy. They're tasteless. For some reason, there's 5 different colors. They all taste the same. These are the reasons why I don't like it. These women haven't even had the conversation. Like they're sitting in a room just saying, yes, yes, Anderson Cooper. Yes, Hassan Piker. Yes, this is correct. They won't even talk about it. And when somebody gave you countering information, it's back to my squeaky toy. That's who's disappointing. These people are disappointing each other and letting each other down by not challenging them or anything. I can sit here with 3 of my friends that agree with me on 95% of anything, and even if we're saying something somebody agrees on, one person is just going to say something completely opposite just to talk shit. Just be like, are you sure about that? Oh, how do you prove that? I do that to my friends about space all the time. Not as much lately, but I've done it to them to the point where they get so mad.
Well, because
it's like, I don't believe that. Exactly. I'll just take space as fake as my point of view. Prove that to me. You can't prove that to me. Who told you? NASA? Who told you? Telescopes? Prove it to me. Like, and if you're gonna sit at home and talk about vaccine mandates and whether or not we should have our freedoms, nobody's taking the counter narrative position to this. Everybody's just saying Justin Trudeau's done everything 100% right. And having said that, they think that they're doing the right thing. They've shown the fascists. And if you remember 3 or 4 years ago, there's one point where it says, don't feed the trolls. That was a big thing for the boomers who are pro-Hillary. Don't feed the trolls, where it became like the Antifa thing and the leftist thing to just not engage. And of course, the people who are in charge of them know that that's how you prevent people from seeing how stupid they are. But from their point of view, the foot soldier of the morons, they think it's not feeding the trolls. It's not feeding into their narrative. They're going to make you look bad. So they don't have to have an argument. They don't have to have a reason for anything that they believe.
Because the media is going to back them up in every sense. But I have a question.
And that's why bell peppers are disgusting.
I don't like bell peppers either, but I do have a quick question. And because I truly think, like, perhaps I missed this, but in this entire rollout of the juice, do we ever, and I mean this honestly, did we ever have Fauci or that Jerome Adams guy, did they ever come out and say, hey, you know what, guys, we've developed this. We think it works. You know, we encourage you to look into it, do your own research, ask your doctor about it. And if you feel like it might work for you, it's totally free. It's on the house, and we think it's going to help. We never saw that. I never saw that. It went straight from, well, 65 and over first, because they thought everybody was going to rush to break down the door. 65 and over first, and then 50, and then 45, and then 30. And then when people realize that, oh, maybe everybody doesn't want to do this, get a cheeseburger, get a college scholarship, get a free beer, get a donut. Like, was there ever a point where they just said, hey, you know what? We think this is going to be good for you. We encourage you to look into it. It was no, do it or lose your job.
Other than Biden lying and saying it'll stop everything, of course not. And that's something Rogan talks about all the time. I feel like we do have one more video that we probably should have shown earlier, but it's a real good one. Before we go, let's check this out. It's from the same protest.
If you're going to protest something as nebulous as freedom,
hold on a second. There we
then
go.
you can't encroach on others.
I'm not sure I understand. Is nebulous as freedom?
The concept of a nebulous freedom. They don't have a specific title, a specific reason for being here. They're all.
Hold on. Yes, they do. It's very clearly to end vaccine mandates and end the flight and travel restrictions. It's pretty obvious to everybody.
All over the place, and all they're doing is suppressing Ottawa residents, Ottawa businesses. We are being harassed and held hostage for their supposed encroachments on freedom. What does a single fucking white man have to say to anybody about a bodily autonomy freedoms?
I'm not sure what race has to do with it.
I didn't say anything about race.
Is it a white man?
Single white man, sure, race.
Okay, so I don't know with it. When I look at people that are gathering here today, it's right across the multi-diverse spectrum.
No more comments.
Oh, okay then. Well, by the way, when it says convoy go home, didn't the convoy go home in February?
They called it a convoy. It's a convoy.
You mean this gathering here? Is that a convoy?
Please go away.
Okay.
No more comments.
All right. But
no more comments.
It just seems to
no
be...
more comments.
Okay.
No more comments.
You can't articulate
no more comments. No more
Dude.
comments.
Have I triggered you?
No more comments. No more comments.
She's gone into full
no more
robot.
Comments.
Is she actually a robot, dude?
It's like interviewing a
No
Coke
more
machine
comments.
with your soda.
No more comments.
She's malfunctioning.
No more comments. No more comments.
It's like a
No more comments.
fembot.
No more
Dude.
comments.
A fembot.
No more comments.
How do you get like
No
that?
more comments. Walk away. No more comments. Back away. No more comments.
Back away as I lean
more
into the microphone.
comments.
Why do I have to
No more.
She's like shaking too. She's like,
No more comments. No more comments.
Do you mind
No
me asking,
more
what do you do for a
comments.
living?
No more comments.
I'm now interviewing
No
a side.
Very mentally stable people, right? Very mentally stable people
Those are the
on that
counter
side.
protesters. Oh my goodness, what's going on here?
But-
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, back to my point, like, there's very rarely people that
No
are
more.
like doing well doing that stuff, you know? It's like
She had
almost
to
all of
resort
them
to
look like that.
base CPU movements.
that
They-
was actually
Well,
worse
that was-
than the big one.
That was Windows 3.1 before they even had like the actual Windows. That was like Windows DOS where you had to type in your command, except she pressed enter and then all was left was no more comments. No more. Somebody's got to remix that. No more comments.
Wow.
When was that? Because I didn't see that.
Yesterday.
That just happened. Damn,
Yeah.
that is
That should have a couple
wow.
different sources. I know Ian Miles Chung posted it, and so did the girl who filmed it, Isabel from our office. And I love that stuff. I love the white male stuff. The other people who probably think Rebel News is racist interviewed by a Dominican guy. That's the best stuff when people say stuff like that. And I don't know.
But
that
isn't
clip
Rebel News is owned
over a
by
million
old
now.
Jewish man, right?
Jews. We got a couple black reporters in BC.
But the ownership.
The owners are Jews. Yeah. The Jewish, you might even say. We've got a Muslim lady named Raheel Raza. We've got two black reporters in BC, who's also one's half black, half black, Blackanese, you might even say, Japanese. We've got Indians. Like it's just hilarious when people pull that card. No more comments, actually, is what I should be saying.
That's
was
basically the card that they all use when they're losing the argument and have nothing else to say. So they're just, when in doubt, racist. When in doubt, no more comments. Squeak the little toy. Like, these people suck. They really just suck. Like, they're just the lowest of the low, and the media preys on these people. They realize that it's much easier to be a victim, like a victim with that doesn't think for yourself. And that's sadly many people. So that's why we get so many people like that. But there's also a lot of people that see the BS, but we just get censored. So it looks like they're the majority. But like, if it was a fair playing field, like the reason they're censoring and putting these disinformation boards is because if they didn't do that, like, they would stand no chance. Like, they would get killed if they did not censor us like this.
That was intense, man. Like I thought the pig one was bad. It was really sad about how the people. I mean, they just can't. Look, dude. Nobody's ever claimed that you don't have to be this crazy high IQ, super intelligent person to just be like, hey, this doesn't really seem to make sense. Do you want to explain it to me? And then you just can't, like, just completely melt down into nothing. Like I'm speechless.
It's like this
and I'm
weird,
also
it's like this weird teenager thing that people used to see where they feel like they have to answer like it's they're a celebrity, and that's the thing that they're supposed to do. Like, no more comment, or I don't really know about that, so I can't give my opinion on that. It's like they've been coached by the media on how to respond to things, and I think those days are completely over for everybody. And there's another video you guys can convoyreports.com, nice plug there if you want to go see more of the videos. But David Menzies, the same reporter from that video, is going around asking unlimited amount of cops who are there, tons of them, why they're here, if they're going to shut down the peaceful protest, and all of them say, "Oh, I can't talk about it, no comment." Speak with a media liaison person. The time of that is over. Like, you can't just be this person who hides behind their company anymore. You can't just be this person who can't speak honestly anymore. You're a cop. Like, you work for people. You have to be able to answer questions that maybe you don't want to answer. And given the fact that they've taken away people's rights, they've enforced things that are supposed to be against our Charter of Rights, even though it's not as strong as the Constitution. You can't answer a single question. You can't give any opinion. They're not going to get fired. They have one of the strongest unions in the country, them and teachers, strongest unions. And you just can't tell what you really want to say. If everybody came out and said what they want to say, then there'd be so many differing opinions. Like, you're not going to be ostracized for saying, I don't really agree with this. But it's like, they're not in the military. Like, and it's not 1955. Your officer's not going to shoot you if you disobey what they say. You know what I mean? Like, for insubordination. When you're taking away people's rights and stopping peaceful protests, and what happened in February, people getting shot in the leg by gas canisters and trampled by horses. I'm sorry, but we're 2 years past where you can say no comment on anything because you don't want to get in trouble. Like, you do have to give comment. Like, if you don't want to do something, then you must stand up and say, hey, I'm not doing this. I'm going to sit this one out. Because all these people in Ottawa who aren't Ottawa police are there getting overtime. They can't force Toronto police and Durham Region Police, where I'm from, to go to Ottawa and work there. They're doing this for overtime and a lot of money. So for them to be like, oh, I'm just doing my job. You're not just doing your job. And even if you were forced to be there, I'm pretty sure if you're just like, I don't want to do this, and enough people said, I don't want to do this, then they would either stop it or take those people off the assignment and replace them with somebody else. And if you do agree with it, then why can't they say, yeah, I do agree with it. I don't think that they should be able to block the streets. I think that they're making too much noise. I don't agree with their opinion. Now, that doesn't mean you can billy club them, but if you agree with it, bro, then just say it. Like, what year are we going to get to until people know that you have an opinion? This whole I can't no comment thing, we know what that actually means. It means you're afraid to give your opinion.
Yep. And off of that, there's a quote. Let me just make sure I get it right, but I'm pretty sure it's like the most dangerous person isn't like the evil person. It's the person that knows something's wrong and does nothing. You know what I mean? They know it's wrong, but they just continue to like obey obey like unjust orders, and that's exactly what's going on. And it's but I really do feel like there's shift.
Stand by. It's like a good man doesn't stop evil, or a bad something like that. If somebody stands by and watches evil, I don't know. There's too much racism in this room for me to think properly. That's what it is.
Too many white supremacists here.
Well, congrats to the trannies. You know, they didn't
they didn't make it in this episode. They didn't make it general in this congratulations.
Yeah. Next week we'll get you.
All right. Thank you, Hewey Media. Rob, which is just at Hewey Media, HEWEY on Instagram and the Twitter. Do you got Getter or anything, or is that? I mean,
I haven't posted on Getter in forever. Pretty much the only two that I'm really.
What would Jason Miller think of you?
Jason Miller? Who's that?
He's the CEO of Getter. Jeez, dude.
The chubby guy who him and Tim Pool got into. I don't want to say got into it, but like Tim Pool kind of called him out. This was a couple months ago, and he didn't have any answers. It was a little bit embarrassing.
But their staff is really nice to me.
What about Truth? Are you on Truth Social yet?
No.
I don't have an iPhone.
Okay, so you can. I'm not on.
And they can't even have it on browser, which is stupid.
Did you guys ever go live on like Instagram? We should do like an Instagram live too.
Yeah, dude. I think that's a great idea. Actually, we should do a live on IG.
Yeah, we should. Let's do one like I don't know, next Saturday or something.
I mean, I could do it.
So I'm going to be at some event that I don't actually have to be at. I'm going with somebody, so I'm going to be in my hotel at some point during the weekend, so we can do it. I'll figure out what time. I'm just going to be sitting around a hotel playing like NES games, and we can do it then.
All right, yeah, I'm down for that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's pretty much my main thing. Because YouTube for me, like, I don't know, I just maybe I'll get back into it, but like I just like I kind of gave up after my stuff getting taken.
Yeah, we're just here to exploit you.
They triggered me, so now I'm gonna go extra hard when I get back, because it's not like I don't have anything to lose. You know what I mean? It's like a couple hundred followers. So
yeah,
well, this point, feel free to post that clip of that giving you express written consent, as long as you leave the logo on it or link to Rebel News. Post it. It's hilarious.
Which one? The
woman.
The screaming.
No more comments.
Yeah. No, I'm actually gonna post that after this, and I'll give you a tag too. Like that's incredible that people like it's seriously baffled. Like how do they not like have any sort of accountability after that?
Why it's not working? But
like
I don't know.
Well, like
she's got to go back to her Wiccan club and explain to them why she didn't put a level 3 mage spell on it.
If that was, and again, like I'm not really on like a side per se, but at the end of the day, like it's like if my side was doing that, like I would say like that's a terrible look. But
yeah.
But here's the thing: is like they'll see that and they'll still just like back her up. Like, well, you're racist. Right. It's like no, that's who's on your team. Like that's on your team. Like you are down extremely bad if that is on your freaking team. Like
you've got 6 injuries for the season. You're pulling up people from like AA baseball at this point.
Yeah, like these are the bottom of the freaking barrel people, man.
They're not sending their best.
Yeah.
All right, Eric Butler, Tatum report. He's off doing Arizonian things. Arizona iced tea, I believe. He's drinking nonstop amounts of that. You don't know what that is, Eric?
No, I never drink that. It's just it's syrup, dude. It's all sugar. I know you like the sugary drinks, but
I don't drink those. And no, I drink diet soda. My obesity is from other foods. Okay. Hewey Media on Instagram. He's going to Wawa and other Pennsylvania-like places. We can hear his accent in. That's right. I know everything about everywhere.
Damn right.
Hewey Media on Instagram, Eric Butler's book. Read him on the Tatum Report, rebelnews.com/Andrew_says. You can watch the podcast on uopod.com or unauthorizedopinions.com, and you can get the latest episodes there. Spotify and Apple iTunes podcasts. Thank you for listening and watching. We will catch you guys next week, won't we?
Absolutely.
Won't we?
Yes, sir. Thank you again for bringing me on. Always fun.
You're welcome. Always fresh. Always loving. No more comments.
Turn it up.
up, Jordan?